And we're back with another episode of the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Daniel, my sentiments exactly. Guess what's trending on Twitter right now? Those exact words. Fire Ham. It's Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here from the Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we go ahead and cover the Daniel. We do not need Drummond. Drummond didn't work once on the Lakers. He's not going to work again. I know he played well the other night, but Drummond in the Lakers, no, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And Levine, no. You're spending all that money on a guy who cannot play defense, and he is not shooting well anymore. He's a 33% shooter. No, he's not the guy you need, Daniel. Got to come up with better than that. You're better than that, Daniel. You're better than that. Caruso, absolutely. But Drummond, no. No more returns for him. We need basketball players too, though, says Juby. We got a bunch of athletes with no basketball IQ. D'Lo and Hashimura now out. Yes, Hashimura is out with a left calf strain, and D'Lo with a bruised tailbone, and Cam Reddish was also out of the lineup tonight. It is Gerald Glassford coming right back at you here for Lakers Fast Break. Pop Culture Cosmos, where we cover the latest news and trends in pop culture each and every week, twice a week, wherever you get your podcast, plus also as well, Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Hope you listened to our advice on Inside Sports Fantasy Football. Hope it got you a fantasy football championship like me, who won his football league, his fantasy football league tonight. Mm-hmm. Got into, you know, not always a nice thing that happens for me when I win a fantasy football league because I listen to the advice of the guys at the Inside Sports Fantasy Football. So go ahead and check that out wherever you get your podcasts. But also, as well, again, Pop Culture Cosmos and the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate you watching and listening. Please give us that 5-star review wherever you get your podcasts. But also, as well, of course, Joe Soro is floating around, hopefully somewhere. I saw him at the very tail end of our playback.tv/Lakers Fast Break coverage. Go ahead and check out what he's doing as Ox1947 at LakersBall.com. Plus, also, go ahead and give him a shout out, of course, at his company, Simblades. Simblades with a Y.com. Of course, you know our guys at the Lakerholics crew who couldn't do a show this weekend because the Lakers had 2 games this weekend. Go ahead and check out what they're doing in place of that at Lakerholics.com. The number one Lakers blogger that's out there, Laker Tom, denying the fact that probably that Ham he thinks is still a good coach, which he has not been, as we are seeing evidence now. So he's probably trying his crazy trades, and you could take a look at that today at, of course, Lakerholics.com, along with Jamie Sweet's 5 Things articles right there for you. Go ahead and check it out today, wherever you get your internet. And also, as well, go ahead and check out our great friends, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights, Lakers in 5. Also, as well, Larry Lakers Dribbling Chit Chat, Lakers Corner, Clutch Talk, of course, John McCallion channel, of course, Empire Jeff TV, who just got 800 subs. Congratulations to him. When is the deadline for trades in February, Juan? There's still got plenty of time. January 15th, everybody, well, not everybody, but so many other players become eligible. So almost all the players in the NBA become eligible in January 15th, but there's still some that will be remain after that. But yes, most of the Lakers will become eligible, trade eligible on January 15th. And then, of course, the trade deadline 1 month later on. So yes, this is terrible indeed. So go ahead and check out though what we're saying each and every time out right here at the Lakers Fast Break by going ahead and liking and subscribing today. Truly appreciate if you did. The Lakers coming in off a back-to-back, and I guess what was reported by Mike Trudell earlier as far as talking about the back-to-backs in the West thus far, the Nuggets, the Mavs, and for the Lakers, they've played more back-to-backs than anyone else out there in the NBA. That's 7. That's as far as in the Western Conference. And then, of course, the Lakers have played the most total games, 35, if you include the IST final, and the most road games, 20. So what happens as we close out 2023? Of course, it's a back-to-back game in New Orleans on the road. Yes, right there for you with the Lakers. And the Lakers played like a tired team that played uninspired, lethargic, energy was lacking. They played the second game in less than 24 hours, and it showed. But the guys that showed up for the game were the 2 stars, Anthony Davis 50% shooting. Not a huge scoring night for him. It's probably the lowest scoring night in a while, but that's still 20 points, 10 rebounds, 5 block shots. LeBron James, he is supposed to be under the weather. He is supposed to be 39 years old, yet he is busting his butt out there. 34 points, 8 assists, 12 of 24 shooting, 3 of 7 from behind the arc. Not much more. Not much given after that because the defense on the perimeter was absolutely awful as the Lakers gave up 50% shooting from behind the three-point arc. Early in the first quarter, started with CJ McCollum going hot. Then it was Brandon Ingram as far as finding his spots in the mid-range and also from out there on three. Herb Jones went on a streak as well. And Jose Alvarado finished it off in the second half with steal after steal after steal, making the Lakers look stupid, adding 2 threes on top of it. And the Lakers were never really in the game after giving up 42 points in the first quarter, and it just never looked back for the New Orleans Pelicans as they win 129 to 109. And here today to go ahead and talk about more misery for the Lakers, a team, again, like I said, more back to backs than anyone in the West, more games than anyone in the NBA, and more road games out there as well. Is a good man indeed. You got to go ahead and check him out today as Ox1947 at Lakersball.com. And of course, also as well, Simblades. Simblades with the Y.com. It is Joe Soro. Joe, wishing you a happy New Year's Eve. Unfortunately, it's not all too happy for the Lakers as they end 2023 on a sour note, my friend.
Yes, I have about a half hour here to, I guess, deliver my displeasure for tonight. And it's interesting that you'd brought up Mike Trudell. It just seems like there's a culture that's developing in and around the LA Lakers, and that is excuse 101. Excuses 101, or you could maybe say excuses 102 for, prerequisites for what eventually might likely be the end of this particular season, and that is the ending of not winning a championship. I just found it hilarious that everyone just seems to dig at every little nonsense excuse to justify why this team is incapable of running any kind of coherent offense for
Oh, you
48
don't like
minutes.
ISOs, Joe? You don't like just ISO after ISO after ISO? No, don't need to have ball or man movement, Joe. ISOs are just so fun to look at.
Yes, they're very fun. I remember when James Harden was winning an MVP playing that way. Oh boy, did I enjoy the NBA when I was watching that. I mean,
Exactly.
this is the standard, right? The standard is if you have nice, cool points and nice, cool assists and nice, cool triple doubles, that doesn't amount to what when it matters. I guess it's still enough for you to be relevant. The reality, though, is this team outside of LeBron and AD, and then maybe a little bit of Austin Reeves is are players that are just not uh, they're just not going to get it done. It's just not. Let's just call it what it is. There was a significant play at the beginning of the game on a 2-1 break. Matter of fact, I think Jared Vanderbilt had a few steps on his man. I was expecting him to pass, but I think he got scared to passing because he doesn't know how to pass, and then went up for the basket and ended up missing the shot. Um, this is the kind of stuff that they used to make fun of DJ Banga for, and DJ Banga was like the 11th and 12th man. Like they loved watching him play during garbage time because he would make some cool plays, and it's a lot easier to do those kind of plays when you're playing, other 11 and 12 guys, and they had some fun with it. And that's really what Jared Vanderbilt is. He is that talent. He is the talent that should be probably sitting in the 10, 11, and 12 area, and that's just the reality of it. And the fact that this guy's starting, this guy part of the rotation,
The fact that
explains.
you extended him for 4 years.
Well, I believe that was not because they wanted to extend him. I believe they did that to allow themselves some room to possibly make a move here, hopefully within the next few weeks here.
Well, Vanderbilt
I'm
can't be moved, though. He is
I'm
he's
sorry.
done for this. He can't be
I'm going to
traded for
say
the
next year.
season.
Sorry, I know I keep forgetting that. I keep thinking January
He is
15th,
the
but
only
he's
one
not.
that can't be
Right.
traded on the Lakers.
So it's very likely that Jared Vanderbilt will probably be playing his last year here this year. That's going to be my guess, unless there's a miracle. But beyond that, the Lakers really have hit a wall, and they're going to continue to go. They're going to continue to say this is why, and this is what, and this is who. But at the end of the day, you are what you are, and you're an average team. You're an average team after making all those moves last year, and the Denver Nuggets made you an even lesser average team when it mattered. And that's what matters in this situation. It doesn't, it's not about, okay, uh, you know, let's say we win 45, 46 games and we go on a run. The problem is we're going to run into someone at some point that's going to expose us for what we are. And that is three starters on that team that are actually really just a little bit into what would be a normal setup in terms of a rotation. There's just too many guys that are playing on this team that are not really rotation guys. They are at best 8, 9 guys on a team, likely more like 10. And that's what you have. You have talent that's just not working. You have a head coach that's not able to connect to the player. And what makes a great coach is not just X's and O's. Phil Jackson wasn't known as an X's and O's guy. He was a guy that knew community, knew psychology, he knew the player's mindset. Now, obviously, he had a little help. He had Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and Shaq and those types there. That those guys do make a difference, but at the same time, I'm looking at our team, and we do have LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So why are we gonna say, well, Phil Jackson had talent? Well, so does Darvin Ham, and unfortunately, we're not. We're just not good. We're not good enough to compete for a championship at this stage, and it just doesn't look like there's any bright spot here unless there's a massive change in talent, and we're going to know here in about 6 weeks whether that's going to be realistic.
Once again, it is the Lakers fast break. The Lakers do lose 129 to 109. They fall to 17 and 17, still ninth place in the Western Conference. Zangerstein says Max Christie should not be on Ingram. Max had some promising moments there for a few minutes, and then it quickly died out. He got lined up against Ingram. Ingram just proceeded to destroy him, destroyed his confidence, even on the offensive end as well, because he started missing shots. But he did look good there for a few minutes, but unfortunately he couldn't stick. Same thing with Wood. Saw a little bit as far as block shots from him, got a little bit as far as the three going, and then it just quickly faded away. These role guys, they just are not consistent. And with Rui Hashimura leaving the game early with the left calf strain, now he's on a day-to-day basis. D'Angelo Russell is now day-to-day with a bruised tailbone. Cam Reddish with his knee is a day-to-day. It just seems like it's a day-to-day continuous, just shaking my head as far as who the Lakers will throw out there each and every day.
Day to day, isn't that everyone out there? We're all
Yeah.
living day to day. The we can get on Darvin Ham, obviously, for lack of system, lack of culture, lack of identity. But this is a team fail at this point, from top to bottom. We went into details there a few weeks back, but it's getting to the point now where I want to see what other excuse there's going to be in the end. Is it going to be, well, they're going to spend the entire month of February on the West Coast, and if they end up winning a couple games more than what they should, or I should say a couple more games than, let's say, 500, what's the excuse going to be there? I'm almost kind of just curious to keep hearing the different types of stories that these guys can spew. Uh, in defense of the Lakers throughout this tragedy of a season so far, yes, I know Laker fans. I know we're greedy. I know we can come off incompetent and all that. But the reality is, when you win and you're used to winning, winning is the only way you can go. We are not the Sacramento Kings. We are not the New Orleans Pelicans. We are not loser franchises. And I say loser a little lightly because that's, I don't want it to come off that
Well,
I.
the Kings lost for what, almost 20
Well,
years?
just understand the term losing has had a real weird interpretation in the last 15 years. Everyone thinks that, well, you shouldn't, degrade people like that. No, I can degrade you. I can degrade you when you've been in the league almost the same amount of time, if not almost exactly the same time as the Minneapolis / LA Lakers, and you've only won one championship, and that was in New York. I can call you a loser franchise. And of course, if you're a LA Clipper, San Diego, Buffalo Brave franchise that haven't won anything, you are a loser franchise. I can say that. I'm not calling guys like uh, Halliburton and these types that let's say played in Sacramento or anyone else, the Sabonises. I'm not calling them losers. Those guys have made it in life. Let's get real. They're set for life and they're playing a game for a living and making a lot of money. But just I'm trying to clear it up to let this is, this bothers us. Yes, it's a small part of our life, but it does bother us how you can have two Hall of Fame players that are still productive, and yet you can't figure out a way to win consistently, at least, 3 out of 4 games a week. You have two of the five positions that you can arguably say are two of the best players at those positions in the NBA on some nights. So what is the issue here? It's got to be mental, and obviously the surrounding town around those two, with the incompetence of the coaching staff. This is the result of it, which is an average team.
Also here today, our wonderful compatriot here at the Lakers Fast Break. It is Zangerstein. She does a great job as far as sending you out there some great Z notes from time to time. Z, great to have you here. Unfortunately, again, still with Rui leaving early on, no D'Lo, no Cam Reddish. The lineups again were jumbled up. The rotations were jumbled up. But when it comes down to it, poor perimeter defense. As far as no movement on the offense, ISO ball was predominant here as far as for us. Just it led to when you have bad offense and you have terrible perimeter defense, it makes for a very tough game for the Lakers, and it showed that today. Back to back, tired, fatigue, whatever you want to say. I just think it was just a really lousy game played by the Lakers today. Z.
First, Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to
Uh,
you and your family as well.
um, I was just thinking that this is like a process failure to me because you remember when we started the season and everything was kind of off. Do you remember that, Gerald? It was like it's not clicking, right? They're not clicking, and I think it's because the front office wants a continuation of what they did in that run, which is a long run, by the way. It was like 40 games, including the playoffs. That's a lot of games as a sample size for what the team can do, especially the 4-1. I wasn't including them. There was just D'Lo, Austin, LeBron, and AD. I was thinking about that. And when they decided to experiment on things and um like use it too much, for example, they changed their system because they have Torian into a 5-out system. They want a 5-out. Unfortunately, the reads there are different. You don't have attacking guards. That's the thing. You need attacking guards in order for you to penetrate that thing. And that took Austin and D'Lo's confidence. It just it was from the start. They're not doing what they're doing on that run. They changed all of it. So it was like continuation, throw it under the window because it's different now, right? The next one is that both Austin and D'Lo, especially Austin, I don't know what happened to them, but when you, I remember my conversation with Sean during the Olympics. He asked me if I'm worried about Austin's defense, and I told him that I'm not because the Lakers' defense was supposed to help on your guards, and they're not doing that. It was just it was a weird defense. You're losing a corner tree without rotating. Then you're leaving your guards alone in an island when you know they cannot defend. So if you're if that's your defense, then it's gonna blow up. AD cannot do everything. It's like AD is doing too much already on the defensive end, and you're doing this stuff that are not helping the team. So because AD and LeBron has been playing well all year, it wasn't as if they're just playing trash or not playing up to their level. They are playing really well. It's just that they need help, especially in today's NBA where you need to score 120 a game. It's not like, oh, we're 100, we can win. No, you need to score 120 points in order to win in today's NBA, and that's harder. You need a better offense and a combination of, because I think I was just thinking that it's all about these players doesn't have the confidence anymore on what they are doing because it's confusing. Even to me, we're confusing. Okay, KR has been really good in um off ball situations, and then they're playing him on ball again when he can't make the reads. I was just confused because if you do that over and over, then you're just making the guy fail on what you're trying for him to do. He can't do it. Why are you forcing him to do it? Same with this game where Max was guarding TJ from the beginning of the game, I guess, since he, since he played. Then you put him in the fourth quarter on Brandon Ingram. I just don't get it. Prince and Vando was doing okay-ish against Ingram, and then you switch it up, put Max in a different situation out of nowhere when the other one was working. I just don't get it. This coach doesn't know rhythm. When a guy is doing well on one thing already and you put him on another thing out of nowhere, that's different, especially in games.
Once
I
again, it
don't
is
know. I don't know. It's a heavy problem, guys. It's
no
just
worries.
a lot of
I can
problems.
I can sense your frustration, Z. I can sense your frustration, and I know we all have it at this point in time. There's no doubt why. There's a lot of frustration amongst Lakers fans. And Joe, there's a reason why, of course. Fire Ham has been trending for hours on Twitter, not just after the game, but for hours already on Twitter in regards to the performance that we saw tonight with the Lakers losing 129 to 109. I want to ask you this, Joe. The Lakers do get some home cooking in the month of January. They've got upcoming from Wednesday, January the 3rd to leading into the Clippers game on the 23rd. They only have one road game on the 13th at Utah. Outside of that, it's all home games. So they need to make a movement back up in the Western Conference. Do you think at all with this kind of home cooking, the fact that they will be home for predominantly the month of January, that Ham can somehow find a way to turn this team around and get it back in the right direction by the end of January?
I'm not going to answer that.
Okay.
I'm not going to be predicting anything here the rest of the way. It's a waste of time. It's a waste of energy. I want to talk about some of the details of this particular game. Alvarado is a guy that seems to play very scrappy against us. He's a scrappy player in general, but seems like he has a special scrappiness about him against the Lakers. And CJ McCollum came out looking like Steph Curry to start the game. And at the beginning of the game, it just seemed like that corner three was a three-point shooting contest that the New Orleans
They were on the
Pelicans.
zone. They were on the zone. It's a
So
zone,
zone,
so it's open.
yeah.
Especially when Christian Wood came
So
in,
you would
the team
think
went to a zone.
first of all, when you play the zone in my book, I know my book doesn't mean squat to most people. That means you've given up. And the hilarious part about that philosophy is, aren't you playing Jared Vanderbilt for his defense? Yet you're putting him, a guy that's supposed to actually play pretty well one-on-one and play good defense, you're putting him in a zone. Okay? Doing that is almost like putting Ed Reed in his prime at outside linebacker. Like what the like? Yeah, he can manage. He's an athlete. He's a superior athlete. Could probably get a couple sacks, but his talent is supposed to be back ball hawking because that's what he does best. These are the details that are mind-boggling for nobodies like us in the internet world, asking a professional head coach, not only of an NBA team, an LA Laker team. Whoever's listening to this, really think about that for a second, because it's a microcosm of so many things. Sports plays that for a lot of us in our life. It's a microcosm. It's a place where we don't really it's entertainment, but it actually says a lot about things in life. Like why do you go to work and you have a particular coworker that continues to do the same thing over and over again that doesn't work? Has Darvin Ham given up? We've asked this question, right? Has he just lost this team and now he's just letting it go? Or is he really not bright? I really don't know. I don't know. No matter how much the players have tuned me out, I'm at least going to still keep that player in a position where he can succeed, because you're still coaching the team. So I'm watching this 3-point making contest between the New Orleans Pelicans, and I'm seeing a wide open guy over and over and over and over again. You know why? Because this guy's coaching is, they're going to eventually miss. Wow. Okay. This is the same team you waxed in the semifinal of the tournament. You're telling me in all your preparation, I don't know what Darvin Ham does on his off days or in between games. I really don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't know if he's teaching basketball. I really don't know. You would think, or I'd assume, that he might have said something like, guys, these guys are going to want your blood after what you did to them. So you guys better be ready. And maybe he did. Let's just say he did. Let's say he did do that. And then no one listened. So now what? Now you want me to predict that a home cooked meal is going to change everything? That in February, when they're not leaving the West Coast time zone, the Pacific time zone, they're going to all of a sudden miraculously start listening to Darvin Ham? Guys, they've been making the same small mistakes for the last 3 years, even before Darvin Ham came. So what really is it? I got on LeBron a little bit, and all of a sudden, the piranhas came out last night. Not a lot, but they come out. It's funny how that works. I'm like, dude, I'm watching the games. Every single game, every play. Who the hell are you to tell me I don't know what I'm looking at? Who? Who are you? You're gonna sit there, you're gonna argue with us about why there's bad decisions being made at end of games that are costing the Lakers games? You're supposed to be the best player that ever lived, and I'm worried about your decision making at the end of the game. How is that the best player ever? If I'm worried about you making a bad decision at the end of games, regardless of how you got screwed by the ref, everybody gets screwed by the ref. Look what happened to the Lions. They didn't even do anything wrong and they lost. You can't put yourself in those positions. You just can't. You can't let it go to that. Unfortunately, you got to play the second team on the court sometimes. That's what you guys signed up for. If you guys cared about the officiating being done better, maybe you would do a better collective bargaining agreement with it. Hey, you know what? We want this in the collective bargaining agreement. If these refs do this, guess what? We get this. I mean, isn't that what those are for? I don't know. I know I've kind of gotten off topic here a little bit, but the point is there's a mentality that's not there. The mentality of we're going to take what's ours. It's not. AD is doing his best. I'm not going to expect AD to turn into Shaq. Sorry, guys, that's just not very realistic. AD's doing his job. AD is a nice person who's got fire, who's got immense talent. He's showing up and he's doing his job. But I can't expect him to turn into Michael Jordan slapping around Steve Kerr and telling Scottie Pippen to sack up. No, that's not who he is. I'm not going to sit here and yell it for no reason. It's just not who he is. LeBron, you all know LeBron is a passive aggressive guy, and he's won and become great because of his talent. And that's it. That's what we got, guys. We got talented stars on our team, 1 and 2. And then we have guys that are sort of good here and good there and just not good altogether at the same time. And that's where we're at this moment, the day before 2024.
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 129 to 109. Z Fire Ham is trending, like I said, on Twitter. There's now more growing sentiment that this show and this audience base has known and been feeling for quite some time in regards to the poor decision making by Ham. I know when he trotted out a 3 guard lineup tonight for a stretch, we all automatically, and as I said on the air on playback, already thought of you and how mad you would be when you saw that 3 guard lineup that was out there for a stretch. And obviously, they paid the price as the lead got larger for New Orleans in that interim. Your thoughts, though, on the decision making and the rotations for Ham, because it's not quite working out at this point in time.
Nothing is working because the scheme doesn't fit what's on the floor. For example, for a long stretch of the season, Wood and Hayes were being asked to drop when they're not drop big, they are switch and hedge big. So you can pair them with AD, Rui, LeBron, and switch it off. I was just confused, for example, on the start of the game where they're playing a zone when you have when you can switch, or I think Torian was the one there, right? He started with TJ. So he can at least go like head from that. But that's the thing. The scheme doesn't fit the players, and it's gonna make your life hard because they are doing what they can't do. It starts with that. If you're being told to do this and this doesn't work over and over and over, and you're still being told to do this, you're not gonna listen. At the end of the day, you're not gonna listen. Bro, it's not working. It's not working. But I'm not sure if the players have that power over the coach right now because both KD and LeBron were not calling him out anyway. The other guys are not gonna say it either. So they just keep on doing what they're being told. On that regard lineup, I can't fault him this game because they just don't have enough lineup to put in there. Cam is out, then Rui got hurt. Um, and oh, this is one thing that we always talk about D'Lo and his defense, right? Like he's bad on defense, but in this game, this is where you need his value because you saw that Austin cannot. He just cannot be the initiator of your offense. It's so clear since the first 5 games of the season. But he's being told to do that because Jade was out and Ham was pairing. This is just a weird thing because he has been pairing AD with Austin most of the time when they don't have the chemistry together. How many lobs did Austin give AD? Or how many bounce passes they have fumbled? You can see that they just don't have that synergy because it needs timing and correct positioning of the two players and the two defenders before that pass. So I'm just thinking that there's just so many things right now that it's like piling up. At first it was just okay, they're tired, okay, we're not on rhythm because of the ISP and they're making excuses, but then they're not saying that it was piling on. And this is the result of it. They have lost 7 out of the 10 games after that ISP championship.
Once again, it is the Lakers losing 129 to 109. Joe, as I'm looking on Twitter now and hearing and reading as far as the post game comments from Darvin Ham, there is now a high level concern as far as Rui Hashimura's calf strain injury because he left and did not return, but they don't want to jump to too many conclusions. So it seems very troubling that LeBron and AD are trying to go ahead and gut it out as many games as they can. Although they admittedly they've sat out a couple games this year, but with the Lakers, D'Lo and Rui Hashimura and Cam Reddish all sitting out today, is that going to be a problem going forward? It shouldn't be because by the time they play again, it'll be several days off and they'll be at home. Joe, you there? Joe? Well, it looks like we don't have Joe right now. Joe, I see you, but I don't hear you, my friend, on there. Hopefully, we can get him back on here in a second to talk about what's going on with the Lakers. But yes, Rui Hashimura, who was in the starting lineup, unfortunately did get a left calf strain. He's going to be out several days, maybe. We'll see.
Oh, it's a
They're,
lot. It's gonna be a lot, Gerald. It depends on
yeah,
the grade. If it's grade 1, 2, or 3, 3 is
yeah.
the
Well,
worst, and if you have that, that's 12 weeks. That's 3 months.
Well, we'll see what a calf strain injury is going to do for him and get the final report. But yeah, there is a high level of concern right now amongst Lakers as far as the brass that's there. That is going to be something very serious. But it is the Lakers, unfortunately, losing 129 to 120. Kurt Affair says we need this team to get those gas station energy pills that Gerald likes to buy. I didn't know I liked those, but okay. Kind of try to avoid those if I can because then the crash comes later. But Joe, again, next game is Wednesday. Again, the injuries are starting to pile up once again. You're hearing the excuses and reading the excuses. The excuses are coming hot and heavy for a team that's reeling at 500.
Yeah, it's calf strains are usually very, very serious. Um, Seeing how this team usually reacts to injuries, especially with the role type players, expect but worse news in this situation where he's probably out 2 to 3 weeks, maybe more. I'm hoping I'm wrong, but that's usually what ends up happening. Calf strains, hamstring pulls are they're lingering injuries. I think maybe the only one that might be A little worse is a groin injury, but calves is probably just as bad, especially in basketball, because it's usually your plant foot when you're jumping for a dunk and jump shots. So with that, this usually always happens when you're not winning. Injuries start to pile up. Uh, Morale starts to go down. Uh, there's really only there isn't a situation where things can only go up. Matter of fact, this could get worse. And by worse, I mean the Lakers could get to a point where if they don't clean up their act in some way, they're they may miss the playoffs. There's a threat of that. As far as fire Darvin Ham chance, uh, it's easy to get on to social media, sit in your little shithole of a whatever wherever you're at, and yap with your fingers on what to do. Sorry to use some bad language there, but that's typically what that person is who yaps online. Some jerk off just sitting there, easy with no consequence, yapping about what the solution is. Let me ask you all you geniuses out there, what happens when you fire Darvin Ham? Who the hell do you replace him with? That is where the depression is. That's the issue. Also, the issue is where do we get the talent to supplement LeBron and AD? Because again, I'm going to keep bringing up the collective bargaining agreements that these schmucks in the NBA have agreed to. As recently as what is it, 9 months ago, Gerald? There wasn't even a hint of anything in discussion in those CBA talks. I have never seen that in the NBA, at least not as an adult. Like, what happened? Did they not think about things like this? Or are they all in agreement that we want to make it as hard as possible for any team to be able to improve their team if they want to, which is what this is. And then you get the other side of that, right? With, let's say, baseball. Baseball, everyone is calling, the LA Dodgers the evil empire because they're actually wanting to win. Isn't that what we're all supposed to do? Oh, well, Joe, it's not fair. It's not fair that they can spend all that money. Well, when you have a rich owner, he'll spend money. Maybe if your team had a rich owner, maybe he'd spend money too. If you don't believe me, look at the Padres until he passed away, right? Like, what is it? Which is it? What do you want? Do you want the freedom to do what is necessary? Or do you want to have these rules where it makes it impossible to improve? You can't have both. You just can't. It's not logic. It's just not common sense. So which is it? So the Lakers at this point are in a position where they have a coach who should not be a head coach. Worse than that, there is no replacement. There is no one out there. There isn't a Pat Riley assistant that can take over. There is no Will Hardy. There is no Ime Udoka that's sitting there that you can replace him with. There is no one out there. So now what? Just fire who? And then how are you going to decide Jeannie Buss? How is Jeannie Buss going to decide on whether she wants to risk future money for a shot this year? Because there's some deals out there for some talent, but she's going to have to fork up real estate, draft real estate, and she's going to have to go likely above that second apron. So now what? Now what are we going to do? Going to get on Twitter or X or Instagram and slap your hams to fire Ham? Like, get a clue. Seriously, get a freaking clue. Grow a brain. There is an impossible solution to this. But then again, that's what they pay Rob Pelinka to figure out, right? So
Maybe
now,
that's the start of the problem.
well, that could be true. Yes. So now here's what I'm going to predict for the future, because I've seen enough of a LeBron AD captain team with Darvin Ham as the, I don't know, what would he be? If AD and LeBron are the captains, what's Darvin Ham? Is he the general? Would you consider him a general? But anyways, I'm going off topic here a little bit.
I'm considering
Bottom
a
line is,
general
I
that
want to know.
well, of a war of
I
a
want to
battle
see.
that's losing.
Right. I want to see how Rob Pelinka fixes this, because he's really the only one that has the power. That's what I'm going to be waiting for here in the next 6 weeks. Can Rob Pelinka fix this? Because it has to be through talent. It has to be a talent infusion on this team, or this team will be toast by the end of the year.
Once
And on
again,
that note, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. I know some of you out there who are way over there on the other side of the world probably already have the new year. Happy New Year. Stay safe. Don't drive drunk, please. If you need a ride, call me. I'll drive to wherever you're at. And be safe. Have a great new year. I'm sure we're going to be talking again probably tomorrow or the next day. I finally landed at the motherland here in Southern California. I'm finally back from the East Coast. And of course, I have family here waiting for me to start hanging out and doing our thing. So I wanted to, again, thank you for having me on tonight, Gerald. Z, good to hear you again. Always, everyone that's on the chat. Again, be safe, and I wish we had a much happier moment to end the year, but life is that way, I guess.
Joe, you be safe. Enjoy your time with the family. We wanted to
You
go ahead and
too,
wish you a fantastic 2024. Z, I know you said the same thing as well, correct? Z?
Joe. Be safe. Be safe.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Z, I'm going to close out some final thoughts with you. Z and Joe, again, appreciate everything that you've brought to us this year and looking forward to a great 2024. Okay, Joe, do you have anything, last thoughts before I head over to Z?
That's it. That's it, everyone. Please, thank you, everyone. And Tom Trowinky, suck it at the end of the year.
Again, he's just jealous because he's a Sacramento Queens fan. Just jealous. Sacramento just loves those Kings, man.
Later,
Light that beam.
later, everyone.
Yes. Later, Joe. Appreciate it so much. But Z, any last thoughts from you on Darvin Ham, the Lakers, or anything else you have for us on the way out, my friend?
I think they actually need to figure this out on their own, especially the players, because no trades are going to happen unless you trade well. Because I don't think teams are gonna be eager to trade for you if you're not playing well, right? So especially now that this is the worst, because if Rui is injured, Gabe is injured, what's your fifth now? D'Lo is your only tradable asset now, and and yeah, it's actually worse than I thought. At first, I just thought about it, but I think they just have to play better, and the teams have to fit what the talent of these players have. They have talent in the team. It's just that it doesn't fit well right now, and they're just being misused and miscast, and some of them are all over the place. Like for example, even if Cam is back, he's playing above his head, I should say, and I think they need to have a talk, especially the players, because AD and LeBron are doing what they can to keep this team afloat, and it's up to the other guys if they want to help or not.
We'll see what happens, Z. Great to have you here. It is Zangerstein. Please check out the great articles that she allows me and is very gracious to allow me to go ahead and post her thoughts We might have a lot of disagreements, her and I, but we still want the best for each other and best for the Lakers. Z, salamat for all the time that you spent on the show with us, and to us here at the Lakers Fast Break. We are truly indebted to you for doing so. We cannot thank you enough for all the stats, the analytics, and all the opinions that you provide during the course of the year. I wish you and the family, now that you are in 2024, a truly successful and prosperous 2024 for you and the family, Z.
Yeah, yeah, it was actually almost 12 hours already. I'm already 12 hours in 2024. So, um, for all the listeners of this live and pod, I'm wishing you a new year that is prosperous, and I hope that your goals come true. That's it. Thank you, Gerald.
Thank you,
Thank
Z.
you,
Truly
guys.
appreciate it.
Yeah,
All
thank
right.
you, Kurt. Kurt, keep your jokes up.
Absolutely. Yes, Kurt, keep up the great jokes in the new year. Sunday, truly appreciate the kind words on the best post game that's out there for the Lakers, Lakers Fast Break. Search and Destroy, truly appreciate you here. We're going to be headed on out, but we will have a new show tomorrow to start the new year. Absolutely got to go ahead and make sure you take care of. Kurt Affair says special shout outs to Zangerstein for all of her contributions. Absolutely indeed. Truly appreciate Zangerstein, all the time that she takes with us here at the Lakers Fast Break, and everybody out there. Sunday, Search and Destroy, Cool Bro, everybody that's been part, even Tom, our troll, our Sacramento troll, Tom, want to wish him, Eric, NV213, Doobie, Dante. Doobie, big shout out to you and Alan for holding it down on the playback while I was in transit from out and shopping to go ahead and get back to the house for on playback.tv. Big shout out to you guys. Omaris, Kurt, again, like I said, Eric, truly appreciate everyone. Frank from Dallas, our Dallas fan, absolutely cannot thank him enough as a Dallas supporter to be over here watching the Lakers Fast Break. Truly appreciate everyone taking the time out of their day and out of their year to go ahead and check us out. If you found us during the course of 2023, we cannot thank you enough for being a part of it. And hopefully you'll continue to check us out in the new year. Please like and subscribe to get the latest notifications on when we go live on the air with the Lakers Fast Break. I do want to go ahead and say before we head on out, the Lakers do lose 129 to 109 to fall to 17 and 17 to end 2023. But the Lakers do play a ton of home games in the month of January. Can they right the ship? Can they get some good home cooking? We'll find out. Will there be some things done as far as the starting lineup, the rotations? There probably will be with the more injuries that have happened. So we'll see what happens. But we will report on all of it each and every day that we can, as always. But we wish you a happy, safe, and prosperous 2024. So for Zangerstein, Joe Soro, and everybody, big shout out to Magic Man. We got nothing but love for you, my friend. Hopefully you are well right now in Toronto, celebrating the new year here in just a little bit on your side of the world. Truly hope, cannot thank you enough for everything that you've done for us, Magic Man. Nick, Jamie Sweet, Laker Tom. Got John Costa. Give him a big shout out as well. John McCallion, Lakers in 5. Larry Lakers dribbling chit chat. Everybody out there. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Cannot thank everybody enough for being a part of what we've done all year long. Kurt says, let's leave the losses in 2023. All we do is win in 2024. Well, the Lakers have a lot of home games to start 2024, so the excuses better stop in 2024 indeed, Kurt. 2024, the year of the Mamba, let's hope so. Search. Zangerstein says 48 games to go, 48 games to decide whether or not this team wants to get back into the Western Conference hierarchy and see if we can go ahead and get back to where we were with the Western Conference playoffs. Let's see if we can get back in there. But it is the Lakers, unfortunately, losing. Truly appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow for more great fun in a new year, 2024. But again, we wish you, from all of us here at the Lakers Fast Break, the happiest, most prosperous, and most wonderful and safe new year for you and your family from all of us right here at the Lakers Fast Break Podcast. Happy New Year, everyone, And yes, like Joe said, be safe.